William Shatner's journey to fame began in Montreal, Canada, on March 22, 1931, during an intense snowstorm. His dramatic entrance into the world foreshadowed the unpredictable life he would lead. His mother, unable to reach the hospital due to blocked roads, gave birth to him at home, setting the stage for a life filled with challenges. As a young boy, Shatner's passion for acting emerged early on. By age 8, he was already attending a children's acting school run by a respected Canadian actress, which paved the way for his early career. At just 10 years old, he was already performing professionally, appearing in radio productions like The Magic Flute for CBC. This early exposure to acting became the foundation for a career that would take him from local theater to the global stage. Despite his talents, Shatner's education was far from conventional, and he often preferred the stage to the classroom. From Broadway to television, the struggle for recognition. Shatner's path to stardom wasn't easy. In 1956, he made the bold decision to move to New York City to pursue acting full-time. His Broadway debut in Tamburlaine the Great in 1956, though unsuccessful, marked a pivotal moment in his career. Despite its short run of just 20 performances, Shatner had proven himself as a determined actor willing to take risks. His early years in New York were spent building a resume on American television, where he appeared in various series such as Alfred Hitchcock Presents, The Defenders, and The Outer Limits. It was his role in The Twilight Zone, particularly in the iconic 1963 episode Nightmare at 20,000 FT, that showcased his talent for playing characters under intense pressure, an ability that would later define his portrayal of Captain Kirk. Star Trek and the reinvention of Captain Kirk. In 1966, Shatner was cast as Captain James T. Kirk in the groundbreaking series Star Trek, a role that would forever change his life. Before Shatner, the role of the captain had been portrayed by Jeffrey Hunter in the original pilot The Cage. However, the first pilot was rejected by NBC and a second was ordered. Hunter chose not to return, leaving the role open for Shatner. When he took on the role of Captain Kirk, he reimagined the character as a charismatic, approachable leader. Unlike the typical military figures seen on television at the time, Kirk wasn't just commanding, he was curious, enthusiastic, and even humorous at times. Shatner drew inspiration from Horatio Hornblower and Alexander the Great, incorporating both intelligence and authority into his portrayal of Kirk. His decision to add humor to the character helped make Kirk more relatable, turning the captain into a figure viewers could both trust and laugh with. Behind the scenes, tensions on set. While Star Trek became a cultural phenomenon, the set was far from harmonious. Shatner's ambition, combined with his determination to maintain the spotlight, created significant tension between him and his co-stars. One of the earliest flashpoints occurred during the filming of The Man Trap in September 1966, when Shatner deliberately walked into Leonard Nimoy's shots 17 times, leading to costly retakes. This behavior sparked a feud between Shatner and Nimoy, who believed he was stealing the attention that was rightfully his. The tensions continued throughout the series, with frequent clashes over creative decisions, including the portrayal of Captain Kirk's amnesia in The Paradise Syndrome. Shatner and Nimoy disagreed on how the scene should be played, with Shatner pushing for more intensity, while Nimoy argued for subtlety. These creative differences were just the beginning of the growing rift between them. The strain of fame, personal and professional costs. As Star Trek gained a loyal following, the demands of the show began to take a toll on Shatner's personal life. The grueling filming schedule often left Shatner away from his family for long periods. He missed hundreds of family dinners and important milestones in his children's lives. On Christmas Day, 1967, while most families gathered for the holiday, Shatner was on set filming The Gamesters of Triskelion. His absence, coupled with his emotional distance, eventually led to the breakdown of his first marriage to actress Gloria Rand. In 1969, just after Star Trek was canceled, Gloria filed for divorce, citing Shatner's constant absences and emotional detachment as the primary reasons. This marked a painful turning point in Shatner's life, as he found himself dealing with the collapse of both his marriage and his career at the same time. The fall and struggles after Star Trek. The cancellation of Star Trek in 1969 left Shatner in a precarious position. The show had built a small but loyal fan base, but it was not enough to sustain his career. Shatner found himself typecast as Captain Kirk, with few opportunities to show his range as an actor. The 1970s were a difficult period for him, as he took on roles in low-budget horror and exploitation films like Big Bad Mama and Kingdom of the Spiders. These films did little to revive his career and barely paid the bills. At one point, Shatner was so broke that he lived in a camper in the San Fernando Valley. He later described this period as a painful chapter in his life. The humiliation of struggling to make ends meet weighed heavily on him, and he often gave away old Star Trek memorabilia to his daughters as gifts because he couldn't afford anything new. A New Hope. The resurrection of Star Trek. In 1977, the success of Star Wars reignited interest in science fiction and space adventures. Paramount recognized the potential of Star Trek and decided to revive the franchise. In 1979, Star Trek: The Motion Picture was released with a $35 million budget, one of the most expensive films of its time. Shatner returned as Captain Kirk at the age of 48, determined to make a comeback. The film wasn't a huge hit, but it earned $139 million worldwide, enough to prove that there was still a demand for Star Trek. Shatner's return to the franchise marked the beginning of a new chapter in his career, and his performance was praised for capturing the vulnerability and wisdom of an older Kirk. The character had grown, just as Shatner had, and this new dimension added depth to the role. Redemption and resilience. Shatner's later career. By the early 1980s, Shatner's career was back on track. In 1982, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan was released, marking a turning point in the franchise. With a smaller budget, the film focused more on storytelling, and Shatner's portrayal of an older, more vulnerable Kirk was widely praised. The success of The Wrath of Khan helped to cement Shatner's legacy as Captain Kirk. In addition to his work on the Star Trek films, Shatner also found success in television with the police drama T.J. Hooker, where he played Sergeant Thomas Jefferson Hooker. The show was a hit, and Shatner once again proved his ability to carry a lead role. Despite the success, the physical toll of his career became apparent. Stunts on T.J. Hooker left him with broken ribs, concussions, and chronic back pain, which would affect him for the rest of his life. The final years: reflection, regret, and reconciliation. As Shatner entered his later years, he reflected on the personal and professional struggles that had defined much of his life. In interviews, he admitted that his drive for success and the desire to maintain his place in the spotlight had sometimes caused him to act in ways that strained his relationships with his co-stars. The tension between him and Leonard Nimoy, in particular, remained unresolved until Nimoy's death in 2015. Shatner has spoken openly about the regret he feels over their estrangement, calling it one of the deepest losses of his life. His later success in Boston Legal reminded audiences that Shatner was more than just Captain Kirk. Yet, even as he enjoyed a career renaissance, the physical and emotional scars of his past lingered. He acknowledged that the fear of loneliness, more than pain, weighed most heavily on him as he grew older. Legacy and the complexities of stardom. At 93, Shatner's journey serves as a reminder of the complex nature of fame. His portrayal of Captain Kirk remains iconic, a symbol of leadership and courage for generations of fans. Yet, the man behind the character was far from flawless. Shatner himself has been candid about the sacrifices he made in the pursuit of success. He acknowledges that his ambition sometimes led him to make choices that hurt those closest to him. The story of William Shatner is one of resilience, regret, and ultimately, redemption. Despite the controversies and the challenges, he has remained a figure of immense cultural significance, showing that even legends are human, with their own flaws and struggles.